What was that?
The challenge.
Adjusting something.
Okay.
The challenge to not have any lewd content would be like that would be fun. I think it'd be difficult. No, it wouldn't work.
What?
Some of the enemies just do lewd stuff.
What are you playing?
Oh, go back.
You've heard of Corruption of Champions, right?
Yes. Oh, right.
Well, it's not.
No, I pay for that. Yes.
What?
Trials in Tainted Space is the better one.
I know. I pay for that.
You know what?
Okay.
I don't want to know what that is, actually.
You don't.
I don't
and
read
don't
it.
want we're not talking about it on the podcast.
Not yet.
That's why we're not recording yet.
It's okay to talk about
It's too
lewd
late.
things.
It's already on the previous podcast.
Oh, was it? Was it?
That was my what was I playing?
Oh, I wasn't. I guess I wasn't paying attention to what it was. I must.
Good.
Have,
I'm glad that you don't listen to me when I talk, Brennan.
Do you think I listened to the podcast?
Damn.
Do you think I listened to what you're saying as we're saying it?
You think this is a dialogue?
We noticed you're using. Oh my god, are you kidding?
Did the
can
paperclip
we
guy
find
just show up?
The fuck? Yes, the paper. What?
My boy
Somebody else
Clippy.
find a source?
All right, Deadpool. Whatever you do, don't fuck it up.
I already fucked it up.
God
Damn
damn it.
You had one job.
It's hard to decide whether to root for the Raiders or the Browns, so I've decided to root for the game to end in a tie.
I've gone from not wanting the Browns to win at all for them to keep their record to like, no, if you tied, then go for it. Get a win.
I want them. Oh, dude, it would be awesome if they got a second tie. Come on, they're almost there. They just gotta survive 3 minutes. Oh no, never mind. The Raiders are on the 14 or something, so they're just gonna kick a field goal. That's funny as shit.
Unless they fuck it up.
Unless they, well,
That
there's
is
a tie.
always an option.
All right. I
That is
think
never
we're-
not an option.
Are we there? Is it ready?
We are live.
I'm
bro.
here.
Welcome to the Sportscast.
Welcome to the VGZ Sportscast, where
Brought to you by Madden, whatever year this is.
Madden 2019.
2025.
NBA 2K19 just came out, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Sure.
It's a shit show. Anyways, hello,
But it has no Spike Lee.
hello everybody. Brennan here. Welcome to the VGZ Podcast, episode 2 of season 4. I had actually a wittier idea for the topic, but I guess we'll just call this the second one. I had a better one, but I can't think of it right
Second
now.
Impact.
Anyways,
Second Impact.
Second Impact, yes! Well, this is season 4, though, so I like it. Second Impact. Anyways, so thank you for joining us here on September 30th, the last day in September. You can officially wake me up now.
Wake me up inside.
Anyways, I hope you all are having a nice evening. I am joined this evening.
Wait, was that a fucking Weezer joke?
No,
No, that was a-
Evanescence.
Green Day joke.
Green Day and Evanescence.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding? Are you kidding? You're joking? Oh my god.
Well,
All
I
right,
did
podcast
Thursday
is
the
over.
20th.
We're
Yeah.
done. Everybody go home.
Everybody go home.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, this counts as having a podcast. So
Please
streak
like,
goes
share,
on.
and subscribe.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. Anyways,
bell.
It makes up for
I
the
have
3-hour
joined-
one last week.
you're right. I
Balances
joined.
it out.
I am joined this week by Mr. Cali himself,
Hi.
Mr. Doctor, Mr. Chibi,
Greetings.
just the Doctor, Mr. Rook.
The podcast ender extraordinaire.
Yes,
Mhm.
and streaming for us this evening is the Deadpool,
Hi.
the Deadpool,
The one and
Capital-
only.
capital T and a capital D. It's great.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's just get right into it. What is everybody playing this week? I'll just go straight online. Callie, what have you been playing?
Oh man. I completely forgot. Hold on.
That exciting, huh?
Okay, no,
Nice.
okay. So, Soul Calibur 6 beta started on Friday, and
Yes.
okay. So like, it's like supposed to be this time warp back to Soul Calibur 2, but also like everybody's a little different now, and also there's Nightmare and Siegfried at the same time, which there was not back in 2, so the timeline's different, and there's new people. And I just went back to playing Nightmare and Sophatia because that's who I mained in 2. Sophatia feels the same, pretty much.
Would you say that name again, please? A
Sophitia?
little slower. So what?
Sophitia.
Sophicia?
Look,
Sofarita.
tomato, okay?
Doritos.
Tamita.
Mario.
Sorry, I'm done busting your balls.
Okay. Nightmare is really fun. Nightmare has
Yeah.
this freaking burst attack that is just nuts. And I don't understand him yet because he builds up energy from attacks. I don't know why or how, but he can use that for bursting and like basically EXing certain attacks. It's really neat. Sophitia feels very much like she does in 2. And Siegfried feels
You mean
weird.
boring?
No, she's what's the word I'm looking for?
Balanced.
Yes, thank you.
Bounces.
That is
Oh.
boring.
But I like that. I look, she was like one of the first fighting game waifus. I think Elena was like my first one, but no, I got way into Sophitia when I was playing 2 in the arcade back when that was a thing.
Getting deep into that, Sophita.
I
Back
was.
when Link
Mhm.
was in Soul Calibur.
No, we don't talk about that.
Oh, I will. No,
Or
actually,
Spawn?
I watched it. Yeah, Spawn was the Xbox One, and no.
No, I
yeah,
had
Spawn was the
PS2.
Xbox One
I had the
and
PS2 version
Heihachi.
with Heihachi, who was a badass. Who this is a man who did not use weapons and a weapon-based fighter. Therefore, that makes him better than everyone else. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Or
Uh,
really soon dead.
Yeah, basically. No, actually, I watched a lot of that. Actually, I had a lot of those streams on in the background, and people were saying that Nightmare and Ivy were stupid, and
Yeah.
that the game is like Casual City.
So it's perfect.
Okay, the problem is that this beta, unlike the Dragon Ball one, just doesn't have anything other than ranked matches, so nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Even the people who know what the fuck they're doing. So it's a lot of mashing, and especially when the matches are super laggy, just mash that horizontal until something works.
I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
the thing with Soul Calibur, right? It's always been mash friendly. It's once people
If you're
got
playing
like,
Maxi, yeah.
yeah, deep into technique,
God,
they actually
fuck.
got better.
I had
He's back?
the most frustrating match against Maxi this weekend. Oh my god. Like, I barely won 2 out of 3 with that guy. Oh my god. We went back and forth. It was nuts. But, that is the thing with Soul Calibur. It is hard to tell a pro match between just a match fest.
Right.
But,
that's
They
fair.
all look the same because there's like all the moves buffer, so
Yeah.
you can't really fuck up an input.
Yeah, so it like a pro match will have more guard impacts. That's about it. You know.
Yeah.
Wait, how deep's the buffer?
I don't know if there's a limit. I mean,
I couldn't tell you.
aside from your move is being executed right now and like the lead up to the other one, but
Yeah.
that's why mashing with Maxi always worked.
Right. Yeah.
And
well,
there-
I mean, and that's what the guy was saying yesterday. Was like, a lot of the stuff is just undiscovered because there's no like training mode or anything, so there's no way to actually see frame data. and
I
that sort of
I
stuff.
still don't know how to do a reversal edge. I'm sure I could look it up, but I just like, how are you people doing this thing?
Right.
Like, it's a neat thing. It's about the same thing as the Injustice Clash, but it's way quicker, way quicker. And with Nightmare, like a lot of stuff, his moves are just so much bigger than everyone else's that they can just kind of overpower other people's in a reversal edge. It's pretty neat.
I was never really a fan of the Injustice Clash because it always seemed like punishment for doing well.
Yeah, and also it just took forever. Like the whole thing playing out took like 5 to 6 seconds. Like,
And it was always the same video, and you couldn't skip anything. And
as the reversal clash is just like a flash and then a little slow mo, like Tekken's finishing moves, and then it's over. It's like takes 2 seconds maybe.
Now, does this Soul Calibur have the auto combo thing that one of the recent ones had?
You mean Dragon Ball Fighter Z auto combo?
No, I'm talking about an actual Soul Calibur. It was like 6 or something.
This is 6.
This is 6. Okay. I had seen some gameplay footage early, and they were talking about auto combos.
I mean, everybody's always had a combo that's just like AAA, AAB. Like, it's combos in Soul Calibur aren't much of a thing. Unless you're like it. Pretty much everything that would be a combo in Soul Calibur is just juggles, you know.
But there is a setting for it.
I have not looked. I don't know. I don't care. But
Sure.
Beyond that, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I don't know. I wound up at a horror convention today accidentally.
How?
How accidentally?
I didn't know it was happening. Like,
Okay.
I went to a mall because there was a Halloween
You're just
store there.
drawn there by instinct.
Like,
Yeah, clearly.
we went to a mall because there was a Halloween store there because Serge was looking for a Fortnite costume. And every single Halloween store we went to was sold out of the boy-oriented Fortnite
That's the
costumes.
true horror right there. You're raising
Yeah.
a Fortnite fan.
I put
One of
my
them's just
name.
a box of floss.
I put my name on a list so that when the truck comes in, whenever it comes in this week, I'll get a fucking costume.
Oh, jeez. It's
It-
that bad.
It's that bad.
That shit is premium.
We went to a couple of Halloween stores, and they were all out of, like, the only child-sized Fortnite costumes they had were the pink teddy bear ones, because I guess girls don't play Fortnite. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, to slightly derail this for a second. The fuck? Fortnite costume? Do they all want? Is it the tomato one?
no, the ones they had, well, the one Serge was looking for was the Skull Trooper one, which is basically like
Okay. Yeah,
military
yeah.
fatigues with a skeleton stencil, and the one that looks like a black astronaut suit.
Okay.
What was it called, Serge? Dark Voyager. Okay. There was also like a night one. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, it's not. I'm not surprised. I mean, you got to think about it. Like when Five Nights in Freddy's was popular, people had those costumes and etc. So, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things. Like somebody posted about the other day. It's like, don't fan shame people for liking Fortnite. Like whatever, if people want to dress up as Fortnite things, I think it's better than dressing up as Kanye, which is what all the like 21-year-olds are gonna do at college parties. And
But do we need the sexy Chica costume? Did we really need that?
That's what I'm saying. This Fortnite stuff is better than, like, I literally saw a skeleton costume in the adult section with a skeleton
Sexy
penis.
skeleton. Sexy.
No, the costume was called Skelebaner, and there was just a
Yeah,
little
we saw
skeleton boner hanging down.
That
Yeah, we
is
saw it in
fucking
here.
comedy genius.
It was in here. It was great.
Every year is full of that shit, and I'm like, you know what? This is wholesome. This is fine. It's just piñatas and tomatoes and purple cubes, and it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fun. Let's move on. Since Cali took up like 5 minutes of
No
talking
worries.
about
Yeah,
games
get
that
Surge
are
on the
involved in other things.
podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
I was talking
Surge
about a
podcast.
video game, okay?
I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Chibi, take me
Hi,
away.
yes. Hello.
What are you playing video game wise?
Well, seeing as I love treadmills, continued my monster hunting. Got to HR 66 today, so closing in on that 100. Playing some more Warframe, just getting on alerts, grinding things out, getting ready for new content, a little bit of Division. I played Fist of the North Star, which continues to be fun. The non-story mode is basically just like very classic Dynasty Warriors, and I'm just doing that. I will continue the main campaign streams, but I've been like busy with work stuff right now.
1 second. You're not doing the new game that's coming out this week. You're talking about the one that you bought for the
I'm
360?
talking about Ken's Rage for Xbox 360.
Yeah,
I picked it up
okay.
at GameStop.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no worries. One thing, a new game I did start playing this week was Let It Die. Well, not really a new game, but it's new to me.
Yeah, tell me how that runs.
It runs fine. It loads quickly. There's no slowdown, but every once in a while, like between sections, it will take a little bit. But I can tell that's because the game is crap and not because the computer's struggling.
Yeah, it's a pseudo
So,
game.
It's another Japanese
Yeah.
developer not knowing how to do things for PC games correctly.
Yeah, the jank is there. I can tell the load would be super quick, but there's just delays in there. And
That's not to say we don't want more games, Japanese developers.
oh,
Keep
we
doing
totally
it.
do, which is
Give
why
us
I picked it up.
Jake. Give us more Jake, please.
Give
But like
me the jank.
I'm playing it. I'm leveling up a few characters, and thanks to watching Cali here struggle on stream, I realized the name "Let It Die" means that the characters themselves don't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
You're playing to level your gear and to level the bonuses and to like, master like weapon skills.
Yeah.
But don't get hung up on the guys themselves. If they die, like, don't be a pat. Don't start buying death medals. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Go grind somewhere else.
I put
Let it die.
many hours into that game. It is definitely a grind at a certain point.
Yeah.
And when I hit the point, it was around like floor 30. When I hit the point where, okay, so there's branching paths to go to different floors, different rooms on the same floor, right?
Yeah, I've seen those gates. I don't know how to open them. I'm not that far yet.
That's because a lot of those you have to go around the other way, like going down from a floor to get to the lock on the other side of the door to open up that path.
Are they shortcuts?
More or less.
Okay.
But you literally have to go, like, progress and then come find the door back down the other path and go unlock that door. So the thing that stopped me and pissed me off from that grind was you get to a point where there's 2 bosses on one floor, or 2 mini bosses, and you have to take different paths to get to the other one. And I was just like, fuck this. At a certain point, the grind was just too much.
I can, how like that quote goes, it's not the end of the world, but I can see it from here.
Yeah.
Like the mechanics are starting to creep in. I'm starting to recognize the mobile gacha systems. I'm starting to see how, like, little by little that stuff's creeping in around the edges. I'm still having fun.
I don't think it gets as bad as, like, most crap that has that kind of stuff. But
Okay, hopefully not. But I can see how it's gonna, like, at some point I'm gonna go.
you're gonna have to spend some time.
Yeah, either I pay up or I like sit down and stay on there.
Yeah, you're still, like, you can't buy your way up to level 30. You can't buy your way up to the third boss of you. Regardless, you're gonna have to wander around those floors, go find that door down back to the floor 28, unlock that door, make your way back to an elevator, hope you don't die. Like, it gets bad, just from a game design standpoint.
Sounds pretty bad.
I still enjoy what that game is, though. It's a Suda game. It has that attitude. You, like, go back out to the arcade to unlock stuff, and it's a fun game, but it's also janky as shit and very grindy. But also, it's a free-to-play game, so...
Yeah, and I'm a little worried, not worried, but I'm a little apprehensive about the Tokyo Death Metro stuff. Hopefully, I'm not just gonna get, like, constantly, like, I come back, like, 2 days later and everything's gone.
Once you hit a certain level,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to... The only way you won't worry about that is if you have, like, 4 high-level characters to defend your base. And even then...
How do you get more slots for guys, if I may ask?
If I remember correctly, money.
No,
That's one of the ways.
no, it's been a while, but I think it's based on level. I think it's based purely on level.
All right. I mean, just to close it out, I did play one more game. I decided to get into City Skylines because, like I said last week, suddenly a mood will hit me and I'll go, you know what? I should play this type of game. That game does not give a fuck. There is no no actual real tutorial. There's no, like, starter scenario. At least not that I saw. It will throw you in, and if you don't at least have some idea what you should be doing, you will just, like, fail out in like 5-6 minutes.
It is one of the best sim games ever.
Oh, it's great. I'm just saying, like, oh wait, I like everything went bankrupt and exploded because I forgot to do this. All right, try it again. All right, I did that. New problem comes up. All right, everything went to hell. All right, let me try it again.
Yeah, that's pretty much City Skylines. This is hard mode SimCity.
Yeah, but I'm having fun. All right,
Good. No, that's good. Rook, have you been playing any video games this week?
I have not started yet, but I did just reinstall Shadowrun Returns so that I can finally do the Hong Kong and Dragon's Fall.
nice.
Because they're on developer special right now.
Oh, okay.
The developer special is like $260 something to get all of their games, or it's like $14 to get all the Shadowrun stuff.
Oh, nice.
And since I want something to tide me over until Cyberpunk gets in, I figured I might as well take a crack at that again. Never played the 2 expansions on it, but I did play Returns, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet. No, that's good. Deadpool.
Hi.
What have you been playing other than what you're playing right now, which is Okami, since you're starting that?
Let's see.
Again.
Yeah. So, thanks, EVs, you nerd. I picked up KOTOR on my phone, so I've been playing that at work. A lot of my stuff's been becoming more mobile lately since I don't have, games at work anymore. It's nice how easy that is to play on a phone.
I've not played it on the phone yet.
Yeah, it's virtually identical to PC console versions. Just it's cool that it runs on phones. Like, that's pretty much it. And then I've been doing Senran Kagura Reflections. Yeah, and that's about all I'm gonna say about that.
How's that going?
And how's that spelled?
Senran Kagura
Yeah.
Reflections.
Okay, that's enough.
Reflexions.
So it's reflections, but instead of a T, it's an X.
Uh-huh.
Of course it is.
And there is now $40 worth of DLC out for a $10 game.
Of course there is.
Wait, okay.
yeah.
How many women are in there if it's there that much DLC?
It started with 1, and they've added
one.
they've added 4 more. The 4th one's coming out in a few days.
Was there really only 1 woman in the base game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
And Deadpool keeps buying in, but so.
Yeah,
continue.
they
You only
keep
get
adding
one
them.
wife.
You're an enabler.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Have you seen Brad Brown's temple? His shelves? Senran. I want to get there, man. I'll get there.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you.
Please stop.
He bought everything too. Fuck you.
All right. Anything else you?
Started up Undertale again on the Switch, which is actually pretty different. The fact that so Undertale is a 4x3 game, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's there's no widescreen support for it. It's 4x3 intentionally. And so on the Switch, there's background options for it because the Switch is only 16:9.
Right.
And one of the options is a dynamic background, which depending on which area you're in, changes. And then there's like an extra room, and there's a cutscene which is hinting at Toby maybe making a new game based off of an anime that was featured in Undertale. So,
So wait, what happens when the game quits out on you?
I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't really played it that much, but I'm not sure. I imagine the same thing that happened on the Vita and PS4 versions, which is just back to, like on Switch, back to your main menu here.
Home menu.
Yeah.
That's going to be jarring as fuck.
And I
don't see
tried.
why they couldn't do it.
I've tried playing some of Nintendo Online. I enjoyed it. It's nice. It's a nice little thing, and I kind of hope more people get into that at some point because I'd like some more games on there, please. Yes.
Are you talking about the NES games?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had that discussion last week, but I agree that.
No. But you were asking what I played.
Yeah. No.
and
I
that was-
know. I was trying to stem off before we started having another
Yeah.
conversation about it. That's all. All right. Cool. As for me, I have been playing the new Nintendo game that just came out, which is, of course, Dragalia Lost, which is actually Nintendo and side games. I'm not usually big on the mobbage. Not big on the microtransaction fests. But the game is pretty fun if you haven't played it. It's a fun little action game, actually. But whether or not it has legs, well, it's a Nintendo game, so it'll probably sell lots of microtransactions, and people will enjoy it quite a bit. As for otherwise, I also picked up another mobile game It's called CATS. It's an acronym. It's like a BattleBots.
Covert action teams.
No, I forget what it's called. It's like Crash something or other. It's basically like BattleBots, the mobile game, kind of, except you don't control your micro machine once you launch it. It's interesting, but it is a microtransaction fest, so it'll probably lose me in about 3 or 4 days. Otherwise, I downloaded the Soul Calibur 6 beta and I have yet to actually turn it on, which I know it ends like
tonight.
So I might do that after we're done with the podcast. We'll see. Also, the Magic the Gathering Arena open beta started up on Thursday this week. And I've put probably more time into that than I should have. So much so that I actually went to one of the pre-releases for the new set that came out this week, or is pre-released this weekend, to get the code and also to play some Magic. Not that I'm going to get back into it hardcore like I used to, but Arena is fun. It's well done. It looks nice. It has some interesting quirks. So it's free to play, just like Hearthstone. They're definitely trying to go for the Hearthstone audience. It's cool. It's there. The grind is real. If you don't spend money, I don't know how you'll be competitive in the competitive queues. But I mean, to be fair, that is exactly like as it is in Hearthstone, and
real Magic,
of course. But it's good to see Magic in a way that actually works in a more modern environment. I just kind of wish they had released the Android version, but at the same time, they probably won't anytime soon. I might stream some of that at some point if people are interested. If nobody's interested, then I'm not going to stream it, because it's one of those things you either like it or you don't.
Yeah,
I'd be down to watch.
Besides,
the Magic channel has been just a Twitter all these last few days about that.
We've been talking in the MTG chatter
the
area,
Enclave,
which is good. We have that channel to not annoy all the other people that are normally trying to chat.
I tune in once in a while. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really have anything. I was talking last week, I successfully did soft mod my Xbox, my original Xbox. And then I tried replacing the hard drive, and I fucked up the IDE cable, so now I'm waiting for another one to come in from Amazon. That's fine. That's an easy replacement. I just didn't
have the cables.
I just didn't have an extra one lying around, because it's IDE. Who the fuck has IDE cables lying around nowadays? But there is some stuff coming out this week that I'm interested in, so I'm going to use that as a segue to talk about releases this week. So this week is a fun week. Of note, first, I wanted to post a clarification. Last week, we were talking about how awesome it was going to be that Killer 7 was going to come out on PC. It didn't.
Wait, 1 second. Deadpool, draw the circle, not the slash.
Chibi's trying to help Deadpool on stream. That's great.
Sorry, all right. Continue.
No, that's great.
It's like I couldn't take it anymore. It's too much pain. It did not release. So, and it's still now. It just says fall 2018 on the Steam page. So who the fuck knows when it'll release? But for stuff that actually is releasing this week, you have Mega Man 11 that comes out on Tuesday, which I forgot comes out on Tuesday. Which is nice to know, considering I think I pre-ordered the Amiibo edition from GameStop, and I need them to ship that to me. So that comes out. Also coming out this week, the new Fist of the North Star game, Lost Paradise, releases on Tuesday as well. And WWE 2K19 also releases on Tuesday, but no Switch release scheduled as far as I know, mostly because the Switch version was shit, and it sold like shit, and it was unplayable as shit, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it was actually broken. Like,
wait, Switch version of what?
The last one.
WWE 2K18, which was last
18,
year's.
yeah.
That was digital, and
but
we do have copies still at my store.
It was broken as fuck.
I'm not surprised.
It does not work at all, and I have a feeling that they just straight up canceled. I don't think they said that they were bringing it to the Switch. I have to check for clarification, but it is not listed as being released this week, which the PS4, Xbox 360, PC versions are, which I didn't remember being on PC last year, but maybe I'm misremembering.
That
yeah.
seems to happen with sports games more than any other type of game. Like, oh, this is just jacked. But
Oh, I have
cool.
I have a reason for that. I can give the reason for that.
It didn't
Give
sell
me the
well.
reason.
Oh no, not that.
Oh,
They don't care about the quality of the game, only the money they're making off of it.
yeah, I guess that's fair. Although the PC, to be fair, EA did put in some effort on the FIFA that's come out on PC recently, and I think Madden came out this year. I haven't heard anything about it, but I would
It's
assume
bad.
Is it?
It's bad. Yeah, no,
is it?
it's
I haven't heard anything negative about it. I've just
I haven't heard
heard
anything.
like
I haven't
it's-
heard
it's
anything
there.
about it. I was considering picking up EA Origin Premier, their like subscription service, because I wanted to play Battlefield 5 when it comes out, and part of that also has like Andromeda and FIFA and Madden. So
Shit, what is Battlefield 5 even about?
World War II. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
a little cartoonier,
It's-
maybe.
Battlefield 1's evolution of World War II. So it's based on World War II, but not in a real universe World War II.
yeah,
Okay.
it's honestly that's the best thing that Battlefield does is when they do
Well,
the
great.
crazy, like even if we go in Battlefield
Yes.
and you go all the way back to the beginning,
Yep.
best part of Battlefield 1942 was secret weapons.
Yeah,
Hands down.
the kooky cool stuff they do does work out really well. But yeah, that comes out like next month or the month out, yeah, next month. So let's not talk about
that'll be next month.
I
Yeah,
think
we'll
I'm
talk
getting it.
We'll get into that conversation at some point because that will start coming up soon, and I'm actually excited for it. But anyways, also coming out on Friday, something else I'm excited for, Super Mario Party
Hell yeah.
comes out on October 5th.
I keep forgetting that
Giant.
exists.
How could you? It's
I
Super Mario.
don't know. It's
Oh, probably because we all play with our friends online mostly, and there's no online mode for that. That's the full game. So
Well, yeah, that's the full game. They do have that mini game thing, which I'll be very interested to see how that turns out. Although I don't have many friends that have Switch and the online service that will be willing to buy Super Mario Party, so we might be testing that one out by myself.
And unfortunately, Floppy and I don't live together anymore, so there will be no Mario Party stream unless someone can figure that shit out.
Well, I do have a couple of friends that have Switches locally, so I might try to convince some people to come over so we can at least try a round of it, because you need 4 Joy-Cons. I mean, I have 4 Joy-Cons, but I don't have 4 friends.
The new Crystal Chronicles experience.
Yeah, basically. I
Uh,
didn't think it looks that bad. I thought it looks pretty good, personally. Anyways, but I did want to highlight some releases this week specifically, and this is sort of a small topic of conversation I figured we'd spend at least a couple of minutes on. This week, also being released, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which a lot of people, I think, are
why is it
actually
ever?
pretty excited about. I actually am mildly interested, and I'm not usually big on them, but I saw some of the RPG element type things they were throwing into it, and I actually like.
Somehow I missed
I like
all the hype.
Greece. I
There
like the
wasn't.
Greece. There wasn't. There hasn't actually been a lot
there
of hype.
hasn't been any hype. That's why you missed it. They
That
haven't-
worries me.
It worries me, but it also leaves it open to maybe being surprising. I don't know, but anyways,
I think we can talk more about that later in another section.
the big piece of topic, and this is where the topic comes in, is that it comes out on October 2nd, but only if you buy anything but the standard version. If you buy the standard version, you have to wait till October 5th for it to come out. And actually, there are a couple of companies that have done this trend recently. Forza 4 actually comes out. Well, it came out on Friday, this past Friday, as in, like, so 2 days ago. The standard version comes out on Tuesday. And also this year, they had that happen with Madden. It happened with FIFA. It happened with... no, it didn't happen with Spider-Man, did it?
Call
Nope.
of Duty does that.
Call of Duty, I don't think it's doing it this year because they're doing the whole only online thing. And I don't know if they're actually doing... I know they're doing, like, the super special edition ship. I don't know if they're doing, like, the same level as they usually do. But anyways, I wouldn't put it past them if they did. But what do we all think about this? I know...
Early release?
Yeah, so, like, basically you're paying to get it 3 days before people who don't want to pay to get it 3 days early. I mean, on one hand, like, with the idea with the on one hand, it's like, I don't really give a shit because, like, with the Assassin's Creed example, it's like, yeah, it comes out on Tuesday. But I work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday gig, so realistically speaking, I'm not really gonna play it until I come home from work on Friday. Not personally. I'm just saying, like, that's the mindset I would have as that justification. But then with like Forza, it was like, man, I could have played Forza this weekend, but I would have had to spend at least $100 to get the gold version of it. Otherwise, I have to wait till Tuesday, where I might go to buy it on Tuesday and not really get to play it until Friday.
I can see on the one hand, like, the people who really give a damn are probably going to shell out for it, and any way to part idiots from their money, I support. But yeah, it's kind of a weird idea. Like, you're gonna release it in a couple of days.
But everyone wants, like, the leg up. Everyone wants the extra bit of grind and unlocks, and it doesn't cost them anything. They just say, hey, give us more money and you can play it sooner, and that's it.
Sure. For a multiplayer game, for like a competitive game like that, sure. I absolutely would call that not cool. But otherwise, it's kind of why.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I know, and this is sort of one thing I remember learning about a while ago, was that, everything used to release on Tuesdays back in the day. And that's the reason why video games released on Tuesdays, because the distributor that would distribute music to Best Buy and Walmart and Target and all them, they would distribute for Tuesday releases, so they, Monday night basically. And so to not butt heads with the rest of that industry, they decided to say, fuck it, we'll just also release on Tuesdays. It saves us money because then we don't have to have special shipments. We could just do the warehouse shipments that everybody else does. And I think this is sort of a shifting paradigm where people are realizing, mostly because physical media in general is sort of phasing out a bit, that they can do this and it not be as big of a deal.
We're not chained to Tuesday anymore for the most part.
Yeah. Cali's muted, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
No, he's fine.
Anyways. But yeah, so I don't know, Deadpool, what do you think?
I did not see that perspective that you came out with. I was thinking from a more monetary perspective on it, and that was a bit more frustrating to me. I gotta say, after hearing your side of the thing, I definitely understand that a lot more now, of like the release date thing and more of the idea of, this is when I have time available, and if I'm paying more to play it when I have time available, then that's better. That's good. Because my thing is like them trying to justify the sliding cost of games.
Right.
That's a problem with me, and it seems like more and more to me like they want to make.
Would you like to upgrade your Call of Duty with a 2-day earlier unlock code? Yeah, that's probably one of the best things they've ever done for that. Like that. Yeah, sure, I'll pay more money to play the game sooner. That's definitely an upgrade for me.
Right.
It's probably a better thing they've done than some of the other crap that they've thrown in there that has like made the games worse. This is making the games
my
better.
Counter argument is, you're paying for your convenience, sure, and that does have a price tag, but they are also, like, the game already exists. It already exists. It's already out there, or else you wouldn't be able to access it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just a price tag on exclusivity at that point, and that becomes really shisty really quickly.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. I think part of it is, I think a big part of it too is, like what you're saying, Deadpool. I think eventually, like, games are just going to go up in price. Like, I think this is just an eventuality. I think we're delaying the inevitable by things like this, but eventually one of these days, one of the big AAA developers is going to release a game where the base model is $69.99 instead of $59.99. Like, it's coming. It's going to be any day now. I mean, I was actually kind of surprised Rockstar didn't try to do it with Red Dead. But then again, Rockstar has like 17 different versions of Red Dead coming out, very similar to how Ubisoft does their fucking Odyssey or Assassin's Creed releases nowadays.
Also, it's in their best interest to get the vehicle for their next online thing to come in, because that makes tons of money.
Well, for them, the online is not releasing at launch.
No.
I don't know if we talked about this on a pod. We didn't talk about this
We
last
did
week,
not.
but they announced that the beta, it'll be very similar to what happened with Grand Theft Auto 5, where the main game will be single player only for the first month or two, and then the beta will release for the multiplayer sometime after the launch.
Yeah, like 5.
Exactly like 5. They're doing it exactly the same way, which makes sense, because the thing is like, I mean, for me, I want to play the fucking single player. I don't give a shit about multiplayer. When the multiplayer comes out, I'll play it, but I'm playing Red Dead for the single player. But I'm actually, as I said, I'm kind of surprised that of all the, like, I'm surprised Rockstar didn't try it. Maybe EA will try it with fucking Anthem next year, or the FIFA / Madden next year, and just like include a code for the future, the fantasy Ultimate Team stuff. You know, like, it wouldn't surprise me if it happens within the before 2020.
EA for a few years now has already been like working on like paid time shortcuts. Remember all those bundles for Battlefield?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, unlock the full soldier, unlock the full support, whatever. Here you go. Here's all your weapons.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much, if you want to play FIFA Ultimate Team, you pretty much need to buy the gold version of the game, which is already $100. It's either $100, $89.99. You pretty much have to buy that to be competitive from the get-go in Ultimate Team. Otherwise, you're behind.
We didn't put that on the topic list, but there was a topic about EA revealing the stats and the drop rates on that shit, and it's bad.
Oh yeah, that's a fun conversation. We can have that another time, though.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we
fine.
probably spent quite a bit on this, so I think maybe we should try to move on here.
Yeah.
So let's try to move into some news this week. We had not the busiest week of news. It was kind of, a little less busy than usual, which is good.
Well, we weren't in the midst of, say, Tokyo Game Show or like a bunch of other trade shows like last time. So
True, we are coming
It's
off
just
of
a
that.
week.
And like this week is actually, funnily enough, one of the weaker release weeks of October. Tune in next week and the week after when shit gets real. But anyways, let's get into some news. First off, Belgium. Talked about Belgium last week. We did because we talked about the Gambling Commission. And funnily enough, they come in the news again, as there was Belgium basically has ArenaNet has killed the ability to buy, seemingly has killed, and whether this has changed at all. It happened earlier this week. I don't think anything has changed yet, but you cannot buy the in-game currency with real money piece in the game as of earlier this week. I'm looking for any sort of update.
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen any, but it does seem like Belgium at the moment is just on there, and for some reason ArenaNet has not made a comment, which is interesting. I'm assuming they just said, we're doing this, we're not going to let people do this anymore. I mean, that seems kind of weird. It seems interesting that that a company would do that without making any mention. Thoughts? I mean, I think this is it's microtransactions, but in this particular instance, we're not talking specifically loot boxes, which is what the actual Belgian
gambling
Gaming
thing,
Commission actually killed in the country. So I think that's kind of interesting that this is not related to that specifically, as far as I'm aware. This is for actual in-game currency. I don't know how.
I think it's a bug.
There was an update. It says it has been confirmed that it is not a bug. According to ArenaNet, update on the purchase status for Belgium. In order to conform to changes in Belgian law, purchases of gems, the Ultimate Edition, and the Ultimate Edition upgrade have been disabled for residents of Belgium. We are continuing to investigate more flexible solutions. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused our players.
They're trying to can never say that word. Monetize. They're trying to remonetize the game.
Interesting.
So in the meantime, they've disabled their old method and submit a new one.
So I see that's the thing. Like I'm kind of torn on this. I think predatory microtransactions is fucking terrible. I don't necessarily believe that video game companies should not be able to offer microtransactions as part of the game as long as it doesn't affect the core experience of the game for people.
Right.
Like, like cosmetic only microtransaction shit. Because if you don't want to have, the fucking stupid shit in Fortnite that allows you to look like the biggest fool on the face of the planet, you don't have to pay money to do that. And you don't have to. And in fact, in that game, you can earn it even. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I think getting rid of loot boxes is one of the best things they can do, because loot boxes are we've talked about this. Loot boxes are gambling. It's like basically the same. It's very close. The line is very, very fuzzy between those two things.
I wonder if we should probably take a deeper look into what the phrasing on the Belgian law is now, because they might have swooped in and said, in order to curb underage gambling, which is likely the primary reason that the loot boxes are gone in the first place, because kids were doing it. Anything that a child would have access to buying a currency with, when left unchecked, is probably under scrutiny right now. Right. And that Guild Wars 2 probably took the initiative and was like, okay, we're not getting nailed for this, even if it's not the intended outcome.
ArenaNet tends to overreact sometimes.
So,
like the guy who got fired.
According to the Belgian Gaming Commission and the Minister of Justice of Belgium, the actual quote, they are saying, given the importance of protection of minors and vulnerable players, it is worrying about loot boxes. But they are very specific about the idea of paying for something that you have a random chance of getting something out of.
Right.
It's not just straight microtransactions. It's
right.
Specifically the idea of something being gambling and something being that you're paying for the chance to get something, not actually exchanging money for a good.
Yeah, then it might be just that they were really paranoid that sort of thing, exchanging money for currency, would be construed as some way, and just they took it preemptively, and they're like,
They cut out the upgrade, just to be safe.
It's an 800,000 euro fine if you get one instance of it. So, I mean, that's a big chunk of change. It's almost $1 million US for reference. Like so, I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of change, especially for even just a company like ArenaNet, where they only really have Guild Wars 2. So, it would make sense for them to sort of do that. But as I said, I feel that, I feel like gaming companies have the right to, I mean, it's not cool, but I feel that they have the right to be able to do something like, charge a microtransaction to be able to get like a cosmetic item in your game. Like, sure. I think loot boxes are like the worst thing possible, which people unfortunately fall into the trap of.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of harsh that they had to do it. I understand the reasoning, but that kind of sucks.
Fortunately, Cal is muted right now, but our next most eligible person to speak on this, Deadpool.
How do you feel about spending tons of money on microtransactions?
Oh, you mean because I'm the asshole who does it, right?
I mean,
Cali did the Overwatch thing, but
as a addict of online spending on gaming, it is the worst hell, and every game developer that does it should be shunned into oblivion and die horribly. I'm gonna go spend another $1,000 on Warframe. Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, like the right to microtransaction in their game. Sure. Absolutely.
I'll have you know,
they should be lauded for that ever, and I think it's an awful ethical stance. As a business practice, it's great and it makes tons of money, but oh my god, it's super predatory always. Yeah.
Well, this is like researched and like marketed, and there's like okay, not always, but there is an entire subset of the gaming industry that are just like, people looking at like at user behavior, at reward behavior, at like numbers and figures, and just basically fine tuning this to the point where, it'll hit the most amount of people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's geared to be the future of gaming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
EA's problem was that they just sort of like went balls deep and didn't really think about it, but everyone
it was
else
an
is like
Icarus
taking
flying
time
too
to
close
refine.
to the sun thing.
Yeah.
For what I'm hearing about NBA 2K19, they're still balls deep in there. They're still
It's
real
hot
bad.
garbage. The NBA 2K19 thing is hot garbage. Basically, I thought we did talk about this last week briefly, but essentially, if you don't buy the $100 version that comes with 100,000 fun bucks in it, you pretty much can't get your character out of your single player character out of the main campaign mode, like out of the story, because the stats are so bad, and you buy stats with the fucking coins. So your character is like at a 60, which is hard as fuck to beat like anything below or anything better than like the Chinese teams you start off by playing in. You pretty much need to have like somewhere in like the mid 70s to actually try to be somewhat successful in the actual NBA as a character. And so the only way to do that is by getting the virtual currency to raise your skill points. And if you don't have a lot of skill points, then it's really hard to get that currency because you need to play well to get said currency. And it's not just a matter of skill, because if you miss shots, you're not getting points. It's really bad.
And 3 years ago or 4 years ago, when everybody was like up in arms about all this stuff, like that's what we were worried about, was that every game would do this.
Yeah.
And they have.
We're learning now that it's not true for the most part. Like, people want you to be satisfied with their game.
Yeah.
They want you to play it and continue to patronize it. So that worry that we had, and we would laud this story about, like, oh yeah, now you can no longer buy currency in a country, and maybe this will spell the doom for microtransactions. It kind of changed. Like, it's got to happen.
Okay, I see what you're saying there, but can I just say on the opposite side, they are taking out what used to be a way that we would get cosmetics in other games,
right,
and then making it a source of monetary income in addition to what we're already spending on their game.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I also point to ballooning budgets in video game production.
And that's our fault. Why?
It's not, but somebody has to pay for it.
The
Start
player
small.
is gonna have to pay.
Yeah,
to play
but
a game.
you gotta start small. You cannot
You
cannot start a AAA game and decide beginning that this is the way we have to monetize it.
Well, that was the initial thoughts behind paid DLC. It was like people were just kind of expecting do it. A new area, and people are like, "Oh, I gotta pay for the DLC, but you get so much more." Like, that's the trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like I'm so excited to spend another $100 in FIFA so I can play all the FIFA, but I understand the complication and the amount of money that it takes to develop games nowadays, even by the big AAA developers, because you have to pay salaries to all the people that work on games. There's 2 to 3 to 4 to 500 people that work on games. That's a lot of money. And I mean, as I said, I'm not thrilled with the idea of spending tons of money on games, but we're paying $50-$60 for something that costs 50-60 million to make. So I don't know.
Bark,
I think
I agree.
At the end of the day, I think loot boxes suck. They're terrible game. That's a terrible game design idea. It sucks that games don't allow you to do cosmetics for free anymore for the most part, although some do. But
years ago, it was cheat codes that went first.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
You keep saying your thing, Brennan. I have something to say after you. I have one last thing, and it's not a negative thing. It's just kind of an inevitability.
I mean, that's kind of like where I was. Like, it sucks. I guess I did want to respond to what Ken was saying. He said, are some modes also trapped behind a paywall? For NBA 2K19, they're not, but they basically are, because your character isn't powerful enough to actually play in online mode. So, yes and no.
Yeah. Just wanted to say that we might be headed to a crash at that point then. If they keep throwing this stuff in here that more and more governments deem illegal because they can't afford to make the game, then they're not going to make games anymore.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. It's just
No, we're the AAA model is headed for a downfall. Meanwhile, we have 80 million people, small teams of like 1 to 12 people making video games.
0.6 million of those making retro 8-bit things.
Yeah, but some of those are good though.
I know they're good. You just got to sift through quite a few to get them.
it's just interesting that the crash is going to happen, not because of people not buying it, because clearly I'm spending money, you're spending money, we're all spending money on this shit.
Okay, I made this analogy with somebody the other day. I was talking about concerts, how like arena shows for big bands are like $70 tickets and parking at a stadium, and I haven't done that in like a decade. I've only gone to smaller shows that cost $15-20 for for a long time, because those are usually the bands I prefer anyway. But like I've been doing that with video games too for a while. Like the last full price game I bought was Tekken 7, and before that Zelda. Like you don't have to be out here supporting this AAA bullshit model.
That is true. That is true. That unfortunately, a lot of people do just buy. Oh man, Call of Duty comes out this month. I'm gonna buy Call of Duty. In fact, that's a lot of people were talking about the fact that they were like, "Oh man, I'm so excited! Call of Duty's in Battle Royale because they'll finally do it the way that I want to play it."
Yeah.
Even though there's like 20 different Battle Royale clones out there, they'll all do it basically the same way. And from what I saw at the Call of Duty one, it's basically just Call of Duty engine Battle Royale. So it's exactly the same as all the other ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it's a good discussion. I think it's a good stopping point for that discussion. So let's move on.
We're good.
Let's talk about Sony.
Sony! Hey, better place.
We're going right into it. So hey, did you know that you could
It's good to play together.
We can play together. That's the play together. That was their whole ad campaign for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They're finally doing good on that promise. It seems that as of now, you can do it right now if you want. Cross-platform multiplayer. It's in beta, correct? It is in beta for quote-unquote select games. Cross-platform play.
The only one that's really confirmed right now is Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite is the only one right now. I'm assuming Rocket League.
Rocket League's going to be the next one, yeah.
Soon after, considering they've said previously on record. Sorry, I'm cutting everybody's thunder out from.
No, it's fine.
No, you're right. You're right.
Everybody's. They said back when that all they have to do is flip a switch. That's like a direct quote from the lead developer on Rocket League.
And a few times that switch has accidentally been flipped.
Yes.
But now it's going to be flipped on purpose.
Probably very soon. So
I think that's awesome.
I think that's also awesome. We didn't have a podcast when this first happened, but I will say that I don't fault Sony for taking the stance they had when they had it.
It was a business decision that worked at the time in their favor. They looked at their model and said, it's better if we keep everyone like on our platform because this is currently the leading, console.
Not even specifically for that, but specifically because Microsoft was a bag of dicks during the Xbox 360 era when Sony was like, hey, let's cross-plat. So I have no qualms with people having sour grapes because I remember very fondly, we talked about it even on a podcast in the past, probably in the first season, about how Sony was like, hey, we'd love to do cross-platform multiplayer. And Microsoft is like, fuck you, we have Xbox Live, we have double your subscriber base. And now that the turntables.
How the turntables.
Yeah.
Now that the most popular game in the world
now that the most popular game in the world is out there and it's on every fucking platform, it's basically the new Doom, where can it play Fortnite is your first question.
Yeah. Fortnite players for all time now have to give thanks to Spider-Man. So.
How so?
There's a lot of things going around about how, like, if Spider-Man and I guess God of War as well, but mostly Spider-Man if Spider-Man hadn't done as financially well as it did to solidify Sony as being the premier, like, their exclusives are the best. They sell the best.
Well, they
Period.
have exclusives. I'd say.
But their exclusives sell the absolute best out of all the consoles, and that being such a pivotal like sales point for them, kind of like was like, okay, well, we don't. Sure, third parties, go ahead, be open with everyone. Why not?
Yeah.
So,
Now, to be fair, on the heels of this, companies have come out and said, "Oh, that's really interesting. I don't know about this yet," including good old Todd
yeah,
talking about Fallout 76, which is not too surprising if they built the game already to not. If they built the game very siloed and didn't expect that this was ever going to change, I don't necessarily blame them. Also, Fallout 76 has its own.
that's Todd Howard, who is of the mindset that everything needs to be a closed system all the time. So,
Are you doubting the words of our Lord Todd?
yes,
Lord Todd. It's
I've
anyway.
yet to play Skyrim, so.
So I guess if let's just quick brainstorm off the top of your head, other than maybe like free to play games that we don't really care about outside of like a Fortnite. Number one game you would want to see have full cross-platform compatibility.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
And any fighting game.
Yeah, there we go. That's a much better thing than I said.
I would like to see like Tekken 6. Or sorry, Tekken 7, or
Soul Calibur 6. No, yeah, we
Soul
got that.
Calibur 6.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That I think that's the big one that a lot of people like the idea, because those user bases I know feel very fragmented in their own worlds, and so having everybody be able to play together is always
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ooh, I like that one too.
Yeah, though that definitely has its own segmented
Oh, yeah,
player bases.
Yeah, Red Dead. When that
Here's
comes out.
here's the hint for Take-Two. You can monetize that. There you go. Anyways,
Well, I mean, they already do.
no, but like pay to play with Switch and Xbox and PS4 and PC players on the same server is bullshit.
Yeah, they could try to charge for multiplayer on top of multiplayer charges.
Oh
yeah.
God, yes, they would fucking do that in a moment. So
That would
hey,
be,
that's
yeah,
the way we get that done.
that would suck. That would really suck. I think I did read people were like, "Oh man, it'd be really cool to see Overwatch."
Yeah.
Xbox
Speaking of-
PS4, sure, yeah.
Speaking of,
I mean,
if
Fortnite
anybody...
is doing that. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry, you're saying, Brennan?
Oh, no, go ahead, Cali. Your thing is infinite.
No, I was gonna say like it. I will grant you, Fortnite is a different game than Overwatch, but like, I don't think Overwatch is that skill intensive as opposed to like a Counter-Strike or something. That cross-platform stuff wouldn't matter that much. Maybe that's just me.
Between consoles, not at all. Between PC and consoles, yes, they actually have to patch them differently.
Yeah,
like-
I would never think those would ever crossplay.
Yeah, those will never crossplay, but through consoles, yeah, sure.
But I will say, what I was going to say is I have an extra copy of Overwatch because I didn't unsubscribe to Humble Bundle this month.
Yep.
So if somebody wants a copy of Overwatch for PC,
Who wants to play Overwatch?
maybe
Not I.
if there's more than one person, then maybe I'll try to come up with a giveaway or something. But if not, then I'll just give it to somebody who wants it for PC.
Yeah, we could put a pile of keys together for that, I'm sure.
I'm sure we probably have a few.
Put your game keys in a bowl.
Yeah. No, shut up. Let's
God damn it.
let's move on. So the Lego games. I
Mhm.
like Lego.
Oh, yeah.
Lego is cool. But you know what's not cool? When you buy
Oh,
DLC and you can't actually use said DLC unless you have an online subscription service.
yeah.
Which is what's happening as it stands right now. Now, obviously, this could be one of those things that, it'll probably be fixed because it seems like it's probably a bug. But
Yeah.
members of the Lego Worlds fan base found that they could not buy free or paid DLC without having a Switch Online subscription, or could not access said content.
Yeah, that would be the point of contention. Like, if you could buy it and not install it, that would be the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling this was one of those things where when Nintendo flipped the Switch on the Switch Online, maybe, just maybe, it just they
Not everything was
overlooked
ready.
it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping that's the case and it's not something malicious, because that would be really kind of scummy.
Well, it's not Nintendo's malicious.
I would
It's
assume
not
it's on
Nintendo.
Nintendo. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it would be on Nintendo.
So I actually, I bought this game when it was early access on PC. I've bought it on Switch. I bought a few copies on PC actually. The developers are not the quickest to respond to things. They're kind of been told. Like the way that it feels is like they were the developers that Telltale and Lego came together and like, hey, we need Minecraft.
Right.
In Lego, we need it now. And so for them to disable DLC is like, well, why did you buy this game that's essentially just Minecraft if you only wanted to play it single player? Is possibly my thinking in the first part, which is very selfish, but like at the same time, like you bought a Minecraft clone and you're complaining that you don't have access to the online features when you're not. Why'd you buy it?
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of free deal. Apparently, there's a lot of free DLC. So to not be able to access the free DLC is kind of not cool.
That's true, but the game is kind of not there without being online. Like I hear what you're saying 100%, but like, who's playing this game that doesn't have online? That's my question there. Where is
Apparently enough people to notice?
Yeah, I'm thinking people who just were like, we're not going to buy online until Smash, I guess, would probably be the thinking there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's mostly an online game.
Yeah. No,
The developers will get to it eventually, hopefully, maybe.
Apparently, so I looked into it a little bit more. It looks like it is a bug on, or it's something on Nintendo's side, because the that's what the WB Games people had said. Whether or not that's actually true or not is questionable, but
Wub Games.
it is interesting.
What?
I said, Wub Games.
Yeah, Wub Games.
Yeah, Wub Games. I love Wub Games. Kind of shitty.
I just like to say, at the beginning of this podcast, Discord said it has an update, and it's been taking all of my willpower not to just hit that button.
Green arrow, I know.
Yeah.
Going up.
All right, continue.
It's a very pretty green arrow. All right, and one more longer-ish news story to discuss this week. Although I still don't have a source for this for some reason. Did it source? It still didn't source. Okay, so then I guess we're going to the quick bits, and we'll just throw this in the quick bits.
Wait, what was the thing? Just
the next. Randy Pitchford.
Oh yeah, no, we can skip that.
We can.
Give a shit.
We'll just skip it. He got embezzled, probably. Or
Randy's an idiot.
EA embezzled. I don't know. There's millions missing, and Randy Pitchford
said you
involved.
had a Twitter.
Point and laugh at him being an idiot. All right, move on.
It's Randy Pitchford and Lost Millions, the story of Gearbox.
All right. Anyways,
let's move on. I have some quick bits to hit, and then we have a big topic to discuss. Some quick hits. Vivendi, who attempted to hostile take over Ubisoft, failed and is now selling off their stocks of Ubisoft. So Ubisoft will be Ubisoft by itself yet again.
Good.
And
Vivendi is a piece of
shares
shit
will
company.
probably be pretty cheap.
Doesn't Tencent own some of Ubisoft though?
So,
maybe not for long, but yeah.
Maybe. But anyways, Vivendi's a piece of shit. Fuck Vivendi. If you don't know why I'm saying fuck Vivendi, go research how shitty Vivendi is. They're a terrible company that nobody should ever support.
I like their games. That's the problem.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Quick hits. Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Apparently, it shipped day one with a different ending than what the day one patch patched in.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
don't talk.
day
Don't
one-
talk about it. I'm gonna play it.
Oh, okay. I will not talk about it. I'll just say that there were Easter eggs in the cutscene that were cut,
Can I,
which is weird.
No.
I
Cali?
won't say anymore, but that's just an interesting little bit. The game developer said it was mistakenly included in the game, but I've
It's
seen
one of many
screenshots.
potentials.
Yeah, I've seen screenshots, and it's like there's a lot of detail there. I don't know how.
My plan
mistakenly
is
include
I'm
that.
gonna beat the game and update it like it needs to, and then I'll go on YouTube and watch the original ending.
Just have a save file and then update it and then play it from the save file.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I have a
Alright.
quick bit real quick.
Okay.
Warriors Orochi 4, which is about to come out in America.
Oh God. All right, continue.
It has set a Guinness World Record for the most unique playable characters in a hack and slash video game, with 170 playable characters.
Cool.
Huh.
That's all.
I feel like that last Dynasty Warriors Megamix had more.
It is on the official Guinness website.
That might just mean they applied for it, honestly,
That's possible.
more than anything.
The record was set on September 3rd, so...
Yeah, because what was the last Warriors one where it was everything from every game ever made of Warriors?
That's Orochi. That's what Orochi is. It combines
that is
both of them.
Orochi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, because
I
there's
had it in my
Dynasty
store.
Warriors and Samurai Warriors, and Orochi is both of them combined.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
With all-
I just
with all
thought
the
that was
crazy
that was
DLC
a
characters?
fun little fact.
Yeah. Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. Please, Brennan. Please. Because I can just talk about
Oh,
Tomb Raider.
he's been muted.
Back during the day.
Yeah.
Here, I'll go down the list. Quick bits. Oh yeah, WildStar is shutting down.
Yep.
I don't think anyone here played it except for maybe Zen. So
I think I remember 2 or 3 people talking about playing it here. I don't even remember who they were.
the gameplay of it always looked fine for an MMO, but also it's an MMO.
I
And-
was
It
excited
sound
for half a second, and then like most of the things that it did that were supposed to be like really cool and interesting were like not
they just weren't.
like aimed abilities actually ended up kind of sucking and
Yeah, like a lot of the stuff they were promising ended up, from what I heard from people, that's just, it's just crap.
What's sucking?
WildStar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Was it better or worse than Firefall?
Firefall was that
it's
shooter,
different.
right?
Yeah. Firefall is like a third person.
WildStar had
shooter.
interesting character design, but that, like, aside from that, like the gameplay looked more active than a lot of MMOs of
In
that
a
style.
way, I mean, the rock people had tits, and I don't really understand why.
It's
Like,
fine.
the sexual dimorphism of a rock really just kind of...
Good character
Yeah.
design.
I think I did. That's pretty funny. No, I
Wait,
think.
hold on.
Are you googling it now?
So no, I just had to watch this old lady do the Kuma special. All right, sorry.
What the fuck?
Okay,
No,
watch
this stream?
my impression of WildStar was always about that specifically, that it was like really cool because there was all this stuff you could do, and it was like live action and shit. Unlike other MMOs, which are lame because it's all turn based and stuff, or not turn based, but like WoW, where it's all ability based and stuff. And it's like okay, but you need to be better than just like we're not WoW, like because every other MMO in the history of ever is not WoW.
Not WoW. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did we talk
Speaking
about
of
Club
games
Penguin?
that nobody cared
We
about,
have not, and we will never.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
I was
I
going
figured
to
that
lead into this next one.
PlayStation All Stars. Who remembers PlayStation All Stars?
I don't.
I remember watching someone play it and doing a 4-clone match of the Infamous player character,
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
and
well-
that's the end of that game for me.
I
Well,
saw it
that's
at
the end of
E3
that game in
2012,
general.
and everyone was watching the that Media Molecule Racer instead.
You killed. You killed my mojo.
The only opportunity I ever got to play PlayStation All-Stars was at a PAX East, and I just... It tried so hard to be a competitor to Smash, but it didn't try in the right ways. There was very few characters by comparison, and the art styles were really incompatible.
Yes.
You know
Little
how
HB matches.
the problem with PlayStation All Stars is that it was built as a competitor to a game in which there were damage numbers and there was a limit to you smash a person, they go off the stage, boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
When the very concept of having to finish somebody with a special move, with your final smash or whatever the hell it was called in that game, is ridiculous. It's absurd.
It was really
It doesn't work. It doesn't work in fighting games. And
it's like Mighty Number 9, how they just added the dashing thing. Like when a game is just like another game, but it adds a unnecessarily complicated thing that fucks up the whole formula. For me, it works for other people like Cyrus. It just, why would you? I understand you want to innovate, but like,
then innovate, like.
Yeah, I think copying is an innovation.
No.
So, no,
I think Cali inadvertently muted himself.
No,
I'm fine.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I remember when it came out. I remember playing it, and it was fine. It was fine. That's probably the best way to put it. It was fine. It wasn't great. The character, the art styles clashed to all hell, and that didn't work to its advantage, even though they desperately, clearly wanted it to. It's a concept of a game that made sense to somebody, but was about 10 years too late. And also had a bunch of characters that nobody actually cared about. So I think it's not very sad.
Fat Princess?
I mean, I swear they should fucking port Fat Princess to the PS4, because Fat Princess is a great game.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
I'm sure it is,
but it is not a very memorable
also
character.
Like no one knew who the fuck that was or why.
Yeah. No, it's
like
not.
This is your all-star.
Yeah.
Of all the other people you could have picked and put in here.
Fucking Cole and then evil Cole.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Part of the problem.
Classics like Big Daddy.
Yeah, part of the problem was they had got Big Daddy as their like third party representation instead of Crash or Spyro. They didn't have the problem was it came out at a time where the PS3 it still was in its twilight. We knew the PS4 and the Xbox One were coming. We didn't know what they were called at that point, and they didn't have the clout that they have now because of how well the PS4 has done, so they had to settle to make it work. And I think that's where it overall comes in, is they had to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't settle on something like that. It's not like Smash Brothers where everybody's here.
Right.
And everyone wants to be there.
And everybody wants to be there. I'm sure that when Nintendo went to Konami and said, hey, we want to put Simon Belmont into the new Smash Brothers, I'm sure Konami was like, okay, cool, how much money? But also, yes, we're willing to do this, please. Because we want to be relevant again, please.
Do they?
No, not actually. maybe the person who signed the deal did.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, I completely forgot. Yeah, SNK Heroines has you have to finish it off with a special, but also that game is bullshit.
And also, Fight Sticks didn't work initially on release. They had to patch Fight Stick support in.
That game,
that's a thing.
Like, that game is a garbage heap, but also you know exactly what it is going in, so I guess it doesn't matter.
I just hope that they don't make the same misstep with Samurai Showdown, because I will be very sad if the new Samurai Showdown is bad. It'll break my back.
I have Samurai Showdown Sin. I still haven't played it.
I have it too. We should do that one night. Jam it.
Okay.
Just jam it. Even you'll get Chibi to get it too.
Just jam it in.
It's like $4 at fucking GameStop if you could find a copy.
Yeah, I think that's why I got it, because it was $10.
Yeah, it was like stupid cheap.
On what system?
360.
Okay, I'll get that. Yeah.
I don't think it's backwards compatible. It's not backwards compatible, I'm pretty sure. But anyways,
I would also like to make mention of the fact that like every Friday or Saturday, I come in here and I go, hey, let's multiplayer something. Who wants to do anything? And I never get any responses.
okay, well, let's start doing that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's finish up our topics of discussion for the week, and then actually had some housekeeping stuff I want to do at the end of the stream. Anyways,
All right.
so so talking about PlayStation All Stars, and the reason we were talking about it, because I actually don't know if we were just talking about how bad it was. The servers are being shut down as of October 25th. So if you want to get your last matches in of that, Twisted Metal, which actually that one's kind of a sad story too. And
Warhawk.
one other game, Warhawk, which I actually
You mean Starhawk?
Starhawk, which is Warhawk, but just in the stars.
I just bought Starhawk too.
Well, that's unfortunate for you because
Yeah.
the servers are shutting off in less than a month.
Oh.
But I think this would be a good topic of discussion because it's funnily enough another game that I know you bought recently also has had its servers shut down for fucking ever, which is Chrome Hounds.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting topic of discussion. A lot of there was the whole thing with the Wii U, or the Wii eShop being shut down,
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff like that. Games die very unceremonious deaths, I think. At least on an online perspective, specifically online games.
Yeah. If I could point out something, remember GameSpy?
Yeah.
They spent years tying themselves into every possible game they could, and then just, yeah, we're done, and everything just dropped.
And that's why no games work online for the Wii, basically.
Yeah.
Because they game spied everything. Or excuse me, yeah, it was the Wii. Yeah, no, and I think it sucks. It's definitely like there are a bunch of games that I know that I played in the past online that I could no longer go back to playing online. Including games that are playable on modern consoles. They actually had to turn the servers back on for Burnout because they turned off the servers for Burnout. Right?
Oh, Paradise.
Yeah, Burnout Paradise. They turned off those servers and they turned them back on when they did the re-release.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was very recent too. Like just last year or something.
Like that's crazy.
Skate, I think they turned those back on.
Yeah, I think they did turn those back on, which is interesting considering I don't think those games came up in any backwards compatibility thing, and I got a lot of people excited because fucking we need to Skate 4 really badly.
We're getting Session. I don't think we're ever gonna get Skate 4.
I know we're probably never getting Skate 4, but Session's cool. I almost backed it. I didn't because everything I back kick back on Kickstarter turns to shit.
Did you back Project Phoenix?
No.
Okay, well, then you can't blame everything on yourself.
That's fair. No, the only thing I have outstanding right now, thankfully, on Kickstarter is the Flip Grip, which the only reason that got delayed is because of the tsunami that hit China, and also there's a couple of like national holidays coming up in China soon that is going to delay it a little bit. But they made a Kickstarter post saying we're working on it, it's being made, but they gotta get delayed because of the storms and shit.
Hey, Brennan.
Hey, Cali.
What's the Flip Grip?
Oh, the Flip Grip. So, damn it. This is completely unrelated to the topic of discussion that we were trying to have. The Flip Grip is a really cool, a awesome grip for the Switch that allows you to play in Tate mode. So vertical mode with the Joy-Cons, rails on the side, so you can play like Donkey Kong and all of the shooters that are on the Switch.
Yeah, get your Ikaruga on.
Yeah, exactly. You can play Ikaruga in the 4x3, the 9x16 it was intended to be played in.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's a Jeremy Parrish project. The guy who makes the Retronauts podcast and Fangamer, who's distributing it. You'll be able to buy it on Fangamer. This is not an ad. I did not get paid for this. I paid for 2 of them because I believe firmly that it's a fucking awesome idea that I'm surprised nobody else has done it sooner. But yeah, so that's coming. Hopefully that'll come in like November.
Oh, the reason the servers turned on for Skate is because Skate 3 is backwards compatible for Xbox One.
Oh,
that's why.
I did not realize that. Well, that's awesome because I'll have to go buy the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they are letting people play Burnout Paradise right before they put out the remaster, because I totally did that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely more. There needs to be more of that, but also like I think it sucks that companies don't, come up with plans to let people play their games after they go away. There are definitely parts of games that as we were talking about with GameSpy, that get lost because their servers are no longer in existence.
Or there's games that like were owned by companies that don't exist anymore, like original THQ. I wish I could still play WWE All Stars online, but I would be the only one.
Yeah, I think you'd be one of the only ones. But yeah, anybody else? Deadpool, Rook, any games you can think of that have died unceremoniously, if they're online servers that died unceremoniously, or maybe the other way around.
You know, I was just thinking about the Halo 1 server, that there was one stalwart defender.
That was Halo 2, but yeah.
one
That was
guy-
Halo 2.
Oh, it was Halo 2? Okay.
Yeah, no, keep going. Yeah.
There was just a guy who was occupying a server to keep those servers up, because as soon as he left, they would shut down forever. And I think there was like a connectivity problem, and he was booted for like 30 seconds, and that was long enough. And it disappeared into the ether, and he received a hero's welcome home. Like the internet just exploded with like, oh, it finally happened.
For the very last guy, like the very last, like, was it 24 people that were holding out? Like Microsoft actually like sent him like Xbox 360s and games and like 2 years of Xbox Live. Said, here, man, you guys earned this.
That's
Come
great.
join us.
That's great. But yeah, quote unquote accidentally, right?
Yeah,
I work in net. Me and Chibi work in computer stuff.
that's exactly what I was thinking, Brennan. It's like, yeah, all right.
You need to accidentally have an issue. Let me just reboot this router real quick. Oh no!
No,
I
it
accidentally got
wasn't-
disconnected.
Yeah, no, that wasn't accidental. They did get booted off
Yeah.
at the end there.
But that is a pretty funny story.
Yeah.
Metal
Yeah.
Gear Online. Yeah, that's right. The Metal Gear Online for the PS3. I think
There's been like 4 of them, right?
There's been 3 Metal Gear Onlines. There was one for
Oh,
Metal Gear
oh.
Solid 3. There
Yeah.
was the one for Metal Gear Solid 4, and then there's the one that's currently active for Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
That's right. The one for the PS3, you can actually still play. You can now play Metal Gear Solid 5, or excuse me, Metal Gear Solid 4. Jeez, I'm saying numbers. You can play Metal Gear Solid 4 online and the PS2 one for Metal Gear Solid 3 online now, but the servers were off for a long time, and basically they hacked the server software essentially into existence,
Yeah.
people were
which is
super
insane.
like
Brennan, I have 2.
Okay.
One more recent, which is Marvel Heroes. I really enjoyed that game before they ruined it and made it horrible forever, and then the company went under and everything just sucked at the end.
But here's the kicker. Deadpool, remember you told me that right before everything went under, the company ordered everything to get wiped?
Yeah, I know. That's the worst. That's the worst.
Like, they like intentionally just got rid of all, like, because
By
They were
order
gonna
of
sell.
Marvel.
Never get your stuff
yeah,
back.
someone was going to pick up, like, the license and the assets. So they're like, all right, wipe all the characters, wipe everyone.
Yeah, by order of Marvel. It's awful. And then in slightly less worse was probably Star Wars Galaxies.
Mm.
That was
yeah.
the big first one.
That one kind of died when they did the first bad thing.
Yeah.
And then actually one that I have fond memories of playing lots of that they finally killed off after a long period of time was the original PlanetSide.
I used to play that.
I remember playing a lot of that, and then they unceremoniously, although it did have a send-off very similar to most online games where a lot of people jumped to the server and were all saying goodbyes and stuff. That was sad. That was definitely sad. But I do remember that very fondly. I don't think I've ever been subscribed to a service though when the servers were being shut down. I'm trying to think of one, and I don't think I've ever actually been. I've seen tons of them. I remember watching Tabula Rasa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I was just thinking of that game.
That's the same here, because basically, if anyone doesn't know, it was Lord British's next project. He was now General British, the guy who made the Ultimate games. And basically, the whole point of that game was there is a giant pending alien invasion from outside of our system, or perhaps even galaxy, and the whole game was like getting ready, augmenting yourself, building armies, like taking territory, just getting ready for the invasion. And when word came that the game was getting shut down, they flipped the switch and the invasion happened. Like it just, everything got thrown at the players, like left and right, like tons of people just getting like, killed and knocked off the server. And like funnily enough, like the players won in the end. They actually like won and like took out the invaders, and then game shut down.
Fuck you, you lost anyways.
Yeah,
you say you
actually-
lost.
I have been on a game as it went down. I can't remember which one it was right now.
I've been in betas, and they usually end that way. Like the original
Oh.
Guild Wars beta was like all the great dragons and everything just started
No,
showing up in
You
town.
know what I was in when they shut it down? It was Star Wars. It was not Star Wars. Stargate, the MMO.
I was never in that.
That game never even went public. That was only closed beta, and I was in those servers as they were shutting down, and I'm just like, yeah, if only Stargate wasn't cursed with every single time they made a game, the owner of the company taking the money and trying to leave the country. Every single
Every time. Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
single
curse.
time.
Clearly.
That's a curse. That's
When it's a
definitely-
different guy every time, and it's a different game company every time.
Possessed by a greed demon just shows up.
Yes.
Oh god. Okay, if I
see
can,
you're
I wanna
making
mention-
Stargates.
Mention three things. The first, this is another one of those games. Like I said, I bought Starhawk, I bought Chrome Hounds. I know the support isn't there. I just kind of wanted the game as a curiosity. Years ago, I picked up on a deal both Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2, like for super cheap as a bundle. I never got it online because you had to this was pre-Slim, and you had to go out and buy the modem, you had to get the hard drive, you had to do all kinds of stuff, and it just wasn't a possibility. And that game died and has been gone for years. And not just recently, a few years ago, I heard somebody was trying to reverse engineer the server system, and they spent 2-3 years just trying to track the server calls and figure out what was going on. And it was only very recently that Deadpool here told me, hey, it's up. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. The only reason I knew about it was because best friends were doing it, and a few of the other streamers were like, yeah, those are online now. People figured out a way to do it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one, how do I put this? Anyone here a fan of Front Mission?
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyone
Yeah.
here ever hear of Front Mission Online?
Yes.
No.
I did
Oh.
not.
It's what it was. It basically Huffman Island, USN, and the OSU forces, on the island. You would set up your armies. Everyone was a mech. You would build your mech. You would set your skills. Everything. The combat was mostly real time, but you still had your hits, your chances for skill effects. You can set off these massive cascades. You had the pile bunkers. You had everything, and you went out there as a group. It played a little more like maybe Front Mission 4, where you had the repair packs and the jamming and assistance and stuff, but it looked really cool. And it shut down, and no one's ever been able to find the source code for the servers. So it's just a lost game, straight up.
Wow. Yeah, that the only one that I remember at this point that is an actual MMO that I played that is now no longer working. Because actually, the first MMO I ever played was Anarchy Online, and believe it or not, Anarchy Online is still going. You can get it on Steam for free. It is free to play now. But the only one that I've ever played that actually died was Warhammer Online.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of deserved to die because it was basically just a WoW clone.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard it was super generic.
It really was. I mean, it was fun. I had fun. I can't say I didn't have fun playing it. And they had a kind of a neat concept for their PvP, because basically what happened was if your side invaded all 4 of the zones, you could then fight the capital city of the opposing faction. And so it was a cool, really badass concept in concept, but
Yeah.
unfortunately it just didn't hold people's attention because it was just another MMO out there,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only one that I could think of. The only other one that I always wanted to try, but I don't think it actually ever released, was Shenmue Online. But of course, that was at a time where I wasn't really playing a lot of online video games, so I would have never been able to actually played it. But that is definitely one that I definitely would have liked to have tried at some point.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing. In regards to the ingenuity of the average gamer, to get back to the GameSpy thing, like just tons and tons of games from all these companies just going offline, like just because of business decision. They said, you know what, we don't support this anymore. I know we like hoisted on every game we could, but nah, we're done. Of course, the company had been sold like 2-3 times at that point, but still. There is a game. There's a program called Game Ranger.
Yep.
It's basically a surrogate GameSpy system.
Yeah, I remember Game Ranger.
Yeah, any previous game, any of the Command and Conquers, the excellent AVP2 with life cycle mode and all those like cool multiplayer modes. Yeah, it's on there. Tons of stuff. If you want to like try and give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I've actually used that. I forget what I used that to play, but I have used that before to play something a long time ago at this point. I'm trying to think of what I used for it. I'd have to look at their, because they have a pretty expansive
Game list.
support game list. Yeah, so I don't remember what I used it for.
I mean, it's not like we can play them anywhere
popular.
else, right? It's
Yeah.
own these games. This is our software. You know, let us use them.
Oh, maybe Age of Empires 2 before they made the remaster.
Oh,
I think that's what it was. I think it was Age of Empires 2 before they made the remaster. You could play Battlefield 2 on there still. So that's
yeah.
But yeah, so I guess pour one out for all of the games, because I mean it's always a sad thing when a game sort of, as I said, games have sort of unceremonious deaths. They get a news article in Kotaku one day and then they're gone basically. So
Clearly, the only solution for this, because nothing in this world exists in moderation, is that you should only ever buy single-player games, because those are the only things that are never going to die.
yeah, I mean that's
their
the
weird
same thing.
always online things with like DRM, and then the server goes offline. And
No,
you're,
it's
oh,
fine.
Shit, I can't play it anymore.
It's the same reason why you buy a stuffed animal instead of an actual, like, instead of adopting a pet from the the shelter.
But stuffed animals wear down. Even they leave us.
You too will one day die.
That's fair.
So you
Thanks
shouldn't
for
play any
reminding
games,
me for
clearly.
that. Thanks for reminding me of that sobering life story. Anyways,
Back to
let's
games.
let's wrap it up for the night. I did have two little housekeeping pieces that I did want to mention. First off, in 2 weeks, I will not be here.
No.
That's
First
same for
of
me.
all.
Yeah.
So,
What's in 2
so
weeks?
we'll announce next week what we're going to do about the podcast 2 weeks from now. And also, since Chibi brought it up, I'd actually like to table that discussion, put that discussion out for discussion.
Flip that table.
Flip that table. I am the table. We should play some more. We should play some fighting games. I was thinking of trying to do like a fight night, and people were like cool on the idea, and then we never actually got anywhere with it. Would people be down for that idea of doing like trying to get a bunch of people together to play something?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
before
talking.
we've done Jackbox nights. We've done like
Yeah, Jackbox
other,
5
like,
comes
random-
out soon, right?
Yeah.
online things. We've done a few like fighting things, but we've never actually gotten together and like created a lobby and just like round robin that shit, or like Fighters has a really good lobby system where you get like multiple matches going at one time, and like people can come in and just like spectate and like shoot the shit and chat.
Yeah, I mean
Something like that.
Most of the fighting games have that support nowadays. Like that's in I think that's in Street Fighter 5 and
Well,
Tekken.
I'm just saying, when's VGZ Community Night? When's this happening?
I don't know. Soon. Let's call it soon. How
Soon.
about I don't know. The thing is, like, times are weird for people, so I guess
Oh, I know.
maybe
And
we'll make
Deadpool has no Friday, Saturday, as you said.
yeah, like maybe maybe we'll come up with like a survey of some variety and have people answer it. would people be willing to take a survey to answer those sorts of questions? This is more of an answer. This is more of to the people watching or listening. If you're listening to this after the fact, obviously I can't see what you're typing, but look around.
But keep typing anyway.
Keep typing anyway.
Take the survey.
Somebody will listen. I'll post it probably in general chat after come up with it, and maybe let's try to get let's fighting. Or
Let's fighting love.
Yes.
Fighting love, or some other game. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a fighting game. If people don't want to play fighting games, we can
Get
do
some
other things.
Catherine up in here.
No.
Yes.
No,
I have
no.
Catherine.
I don't. I do. And
I have
I
so
also-
many fighting games I don't get to play.
anyways, so I guess let's wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for watching the podcast this week. This has been the VGZ Podcast, episode 2 of Season 4. I want to thank all the people that joined us this evening: Cali, Deadpool, Chibi, and Rook. And thank you once again, Deadpool, for streaming. I am Brennan, and you stay classy, VGZ.